Hi, my name is Arnav and I'm a rising senior at Monte Vista High School. So for my modifications for my hexapod project, I decided to add an ultrasonic sensor that detects obstacles from a distance and an LCD display to display the distance. Here's how it works. So when I turn it on and add my arm in the way, the hexapod will detect the obstacle and it will move to the side like that, and then it moves forward. So also on the back, there's an LCD display here that displays the distance when it detects an obstacle. So the first thing I did for my mod was add the ultrasonic sensor onto the hexapod right here, and it attaches to the circuit board through the middle, and before that's where my battery was sitting, so I had to move the placement of my battery so it wasn't getting in the way of the jumper wires. Once I did that, it was time to code the ultrasonic sensor. So to do that, I first had to understand how the ultrasonic sensor works. And it works by sending out a wave through the trig pin and receiving the wave back through the echo pin and measuring the time it takes to receive the wave back. And that time can be converted from microseconds to centimeters by dividing by 58. So to calculate the distance, I implemented a new method that calculates the distance, and every time I wanted an input, I implemented that method in my code. So once the ultrasonic sensor was working, I decided to add an LCD display with it so that it would display the distance of the obstacle on the robot. So to test that the LCD display was working, I used jumper wires to connect it through a breadboard to the circuit board, connecting everything to ground, 5 volts, or a digital Arduino pin. Once I ensured that the LCD display was working with the breadboard, I wanted to make sure it worked with the ultrasonic sensor code. Since the ultrasonic sensor code already calculated the distance, all I had to do was print it on the screen through the variable, and sure enough, it worked perfectly. So I decided to move everything from a normal breadboard to a solderable breadboard just to make the connections more permanent, and also so it would look better than the normal breadboard would in this black and gold solderable breadboard. So once I soldered everything, I was basically done with my modifications. But one issue I had was accidentally bridging solder between 2 pinholes when I was trying to solder jumper wires. So that ended up with me having to learn how to desolder and desoldering a lot of holes. Now everything works perfectly, and the LCD display, one more issue I had with that was the brightness of it. So before, I didn't have any resistors on the LCD display, and that caused the contrast to be really off and hard to read on the display itself. So I ended up adding 2 1000 ohm resistors, so in series on pin number 3, so it would increase the brightness and make it more easy to read. And that's it for my modifications. Thank you.